Hey everyone, it's Paul Hamilton here from UTV. This is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to create using Keynote and GarageBand today. We're going to create this little animation that I'll show you in a minute. We're also going to compose our own music based on a Hans Zimmer soundtrack, which is going to be super cool in GarageBand. And hopefully you can get your students creating all the images that they use today as well. And let's see how we go. So here it is. So as you can see, there are lots of different contexts that our students can create their superheroes. Let's jump straight into it. We'll jump into Keynote. Now, this deck will be available to you in the Apple Education community. So you can download this whole template so you can see how I did it. But we're going to create this basically from scratch. I'm going to grab some images from Pexels today, but it'd be much better if the students took photos of themselves. You can see the elements that I've got here. I've basically got a photo of the student. I've got this great little custom made animated GIF that we've created in Keynote. And we've also got that beautiful soundtrack that we're going to import from GarageBand. So the end result is obviously hopefully those elements working in unison. Now you can also see I've done a little drawing there just to emphasize the girl playing the guitar as well. So why don't we jump into this and actually see how this was done? You can see here different contexts. This little boy's superpower is reading, imagination and creativity. He loves to read. So we can actually incorporate a lot of these great elements in our students' thinking, whether that's science, music, all these different aspects. It's going to be super fun, this project, and I'm going to show you how to do it from scratch. You can also see down the bottom here, I've got some different files, but I'm going to start with creating a blank slide. And we're going to start with the background, which is super important. It gives us the context. Now I'm jumping into Pexels and I've just typed in free rooftop night moon photos. And you can see I've got a whole lot of great ones here. But it would be much better if our students created their own photography, got their iPads, got outside, took an action shot somewhere of a background. And then all we're going to do is bring that into Keynote as our background. So I might grab one of these backgrounds that I've currently got. Now, the one thing that I have done, and I'll show you how to do it in a minute, let's say I grab this one here that's got a little bit of color in it. I don't actually want the color of the moon in it. What we can also do there is apply a filter before we actually get into Keynote. I'll show you how to do that in a moment. But what I'm doing here is I'm just resizing it. But if I jump into my photos, you can see there's the photo of the moon there. What I love to do is go to edit and go over to my filters and change it to noir, which is the bottom one, which is the black and white. That's going to make my moon pop a little bit more, and it's also going to allow me to do some selective coloring with my cape and my Apple Pencil drawing. So if I get rid of this one for a second, let's get rid of that one. And let's bring in that black and white noir kind of filtered version of it, which is down to my here. Down to your left a little bit there, Paul. No, not that one, but we will use this one. We could use that one. That could be good. Let's resize that and just see how we go. So we can use either of those images there, which is fun. We'll resize this a little bit. You could mask it. You could crop it before it actually comes in. But basically all we want to do is we want to cover up the entire area of the slide there. And then also, oh, hang on, I'm almost there. There we go. Then I'm also going to go up to my paintbrush and I'm going to go to arrange at the top and I'm going to lock it just so it doesn't move all over the place, which is great. The next step, what do we need next? We basically need the student. So this is where you get your student to do some action poses with their superpower. Could be a book, could be a football, could be a musical instrument, anything that they want. I might grab the one with the girl with the guitar because it kind of works out beautifully. Now, what I can do is hold my finger down in photos to select that object, and it also picks up the guitar. I can press share and then I can save that as an image without the background. That's super cool. You can also remove the background in Keynote. You could bring that whole photo in, go up to your paintbrush and remove background that way as well. But what I'm going to do is just bring in that photo there and look how good this looks. There it is. It looks like it's got a white background, but it actually didn't. Look at that. That's looking awesome already. I like how her feet have got a bit of a pose to it. Looks like she's kind of floating in midair like Superman, which is awesome. And so we've got two elements now. Now we're going to look at the cape. Now I've got an animated GIF in the Keynote deck that you can get from the Apple Education Community site. Now I can copy that, or you can copy it, give it to your students. And what you can do is paste it directly behind the girl, not that one. Let's go to this one here. I can tap my finger down, I can paste, I can position my animated GIF cape, and I might like to zoom in, so make sure you always zoom in. I can go to my paintbrush and I can slide the arrange to slightly behind the girl now that we've got those two different layers. And you can press play just to see how that actually works. Now, if it's not the right area, you can do a range of different things like move it, you can flip it horizontally, vertically, you can do a whole range of different things, but that's looking pretty good at the moment, to be honest. And let's add some drawing. So this is just going to make it pop a little bit. I want a little bit of red pop around where she's actually playing the guitar. So if I kind of pinch and zoom in a little bit here without moving, you can see why oh, that's crayon. I don't want crayon. So I'm going to go back to my drawing tool. I'm going to select the pen tool, select it to red. Sometimes it comes in really thick. That's a little bit too thick. So I might just go my back arrow, my best friend, top right-hand corner is my back arrow. I'm just going to go to a different thickness. That's looking good. And I'm just going to do some lines. It kind of like is emphasizing that she's playing the guitar on those different areas. Now, if we zoom out, let's have a look and see how that looks. Now that looks brilliant. I'm really happy with that. But let's say that you wanted to create your own animated GIF. Would you like to know how I did that? This is a little bit of advanced. So that's looking really good. But this is a little bit of the advanced section for those students willing to do it. Now you can see here, I've got a whole lot of slides where I've drawn a cape and I've slightly rubbed out or added little bits with my Apple Pencil drawing to make it look like it's flowing. Now it doesn't have to look perfect, but you can see there I've got, I think from slides 8 to 20, have got little GIFs centered in the middle of the slide deck. And then if I go up to export, I can export those slides 8 through to 20 as an animated GIF or GIF, depending on where you are from. So if I change that to 8 to 20, you can see that it's going to go for, if I move that up a bit, it's going to go for 1 second. It's going to go really quickly and it's going to zoom through all of those. And I've also got ticked the transparent background. And then I'm going to export. You can see that it's exporting that GIF. Now, one other thing before I show you, go up to your paintbrush, and if you're going to have a go at this, make sure that you've got a no-fill background. So it's got a no-fill so we don't get a background when we export the GIF. So that's once again, have a go at drawing some sequences, put them together by selecting the slide range. In my case, it was 8 to 20, and then you can make sure it's got a transparent background. Look how long it takes. It's going to go for 1 second and you can export. I'm using medium. I probably would go large if I wanted to get it a little bit more detailed. And then I'm simply going to save that as an image and it's going to go to my camera roll. So if that process is doable for you and your students, make sure you have a go at it. You've got this deck, don't forget. So if I delete that existing floating cape, what I can do now is go up to my pictures. I can find my beautiful cape. There it is there. And this one goes a little bit quicker, I think. And then I can position it. Now you can see here, it's not the right angle. So I'm going to go up to my paintbrush. I'm going to look at flipping it horizontally. That's not too bad, but I can also rotate it. See how it's got a rotate here? So if I rotate that a little bit to here, or maybe the other way, that's better. Now I can position it in front of her. I can go to my paintbrush and then I can layer it behind her so it doesn't look as messy as that. So I'm going to layer it behind. Oh, that's looking really good. Oh, it comes out a little bit, so I can kind of move it as it's animating. I can just drag it to the side a bit. That's looking really great. Have a look at that. A custom animated GIF. I can't wait to see what your students create in regard to their own GIFs. Now, this is all looking brilliant. It's all looking really, really great in regard to what we're trying to do here. I think our last step is actually doing the music. So we're going to jump into GarageBand in a minute. So hopefully you've got that ready. Pause this video if you needed to. You've got this slide deck in the education community. I'll put a link to that as well. So you could actually get them to play with exporting the slides that I've done, or even more importantly, have a go at your students exporting. Now I'm going to export that whole slide, slide number 2. Just slide number 2, I'm going to export that as a movie file, and that's going to give me my movie with my GIF all composed and rendered all over the top there. And it's going to sit beautifully in my camera roll when I export it. So this is all looking good. We can export that without the music if we want. We can save that video. That's going to look absolutely brilliant in my photos. It's going to all come together beautifully, but the real icing on the top is the music. So we're going to have a go at creating the Hans Zimmer music composition that is actually from Man of Steel, Superman. So we're actually going to create that now. So get your GarageBand out and let's have a go at this. Let's do this together. So we're in GarageBand. Let's get it open here. We're going to go to a brand new composition. And we're going to go to our keyboard, but we're going to go down the bottom of our keyboard where it's got alchemy here, this one here, and we're going to hit that. It's going to give us that kind of spacey type look. Now you can play around a lot with this, okay? So I'm going to change it over in this middle section to pitch so that you can see what I'm pressing on with my C3 chords. Let's have a go. Yep, that's sounding good. Yep. And I'm also going to change it to, I think I changed it to soft, but you can have a play around with that and see how it sounds. And we can also go down a pitch or up a pitch depending on what you want. Now, the C3 is where we're going to start with. So we're actually going to make sure that we know where that is. We'll turn off our metronome. Oh, by the way, go up to your plus right up the top right-hand corner here. And where you've got 8 bars, turn that to automatic. That way you'll have a kind of a limitless amount of time. It won't cut off after a certain bars. So what I'm going to do is go to C3 and then I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4 over. So C3, and then on the 5th one over, we're going to start and then we're going to work our way in. So there. Then we're going to go C3 again and then further out. And then further out, so it's going to be like an uplifting, and then we finish with a C3 and a C4 if you've got this kind of set up down. Now, if you wanted to go the other way, you could come inwards, and that's more of a kind of a depressing reflective, and the other one's a bit more uplifting if you go the other way. A little tip from me, make sure that you take your time before you press the first one and the second one. Just give it a little bit of anticipation. And then what we're going to do up the top is we're going to press our red record button and actually record that. You can see how that music there is a little bit more reflective. You can choose which one you'd like to do. So let's have a go at this. We're going to hit the red and record, and let's record our music. Then we're going to go up to the top and hit our red record button to stop. We'll rewind it or play, listen to it back. That's sounding really, really great. That's going to go beautifully with our composition in Keynote that we've just created. And what we're going to do is then bring that in and make sure it's in our files, and then we can definitely bring that into our composition. So that's sounding really good. So all we really need to do now is go back to top left to go back to our kind of gallery page. We're going to do a long press. We're going to put our finger down and count to a couple of seconds, and we're going to go to share. And we are going to save that as a song. Medium's fine. We're going to press share. The very important bit, we're going to save to files. Down the bottom here, we're going to call it something that we can really remember it by. And that way we can bring it directly into Keynote. So to bring it into Keynote, you're just going to go up to your picture icon at the top where you enter and bring in your photos and videos, and you're going to select file, and you're going to look for Zimmer music or whatever you've called it. And there you have your music on the slide itself. So we're going to save that. We'll double check that it's kind of gone into our files. So what we might do is just close GarageBand for a second here and just double check in our files that we've got it. That's a truffle tree. There's the Zimmer music there, and we are ready to bring it back into Keynote. And I hope you really enjoyed that, and I hope you can create your own music compositions and your own animated GIFs as you get more confident. This is Paul Hamilton here for Using Technology Better.